It's a treat all year round.
Excellent.
Good morning and welcome back to White Mountains Today here on White Mountain TV 16. Sunday, June 4th, and joining us in the studio is Susan Beane from the Upper Saco Valley Land Trust. I tried to say upper and Saco in the same word. How are you today?
I'm doing peachy. I'm doing well, enjoying the day right before it rains.
Well, beautiful weekend. We've had a beautiful week, so we really can't complain about that.
Yeah, and all the gardeners within and among the valley, I'm sure the rain is something sought after. I'm looking forward to it anyway.
Very welcome.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the Upper Saco Valley Land Trust. Let's start off with, what is the Upper Saco Valley Land Trust?
It's a groovy community land trust. Hopefully at this point, many communities will have their land trusts that focus on conserving local area lands for special focus, whether it's ag focus or woodland or habitat. The Upper Saco Valley Land Trust has been around for 15 years and has over 11,500 now of conserved property lands in easement. Yeah, I think so too. In only 15 years. So I would consider it still a young organization.
Right, definitely. Yeah. But very successful young organization.
And only as successful as the community is supportive, truly.
Absolutely. So you've got a bunch of events though coming up, which help, of course, the Upper Saco Valley Land Trust. So let's talk about some of those.
Yeah, I think it's called our Easement Exploration Series. And I think what I like most about it, it was a great concept created a while ago to be able to take people out on the easement properties. Because the properties are not all owned by the land trust. Yeah. They're owned by the property owners, and we hold a conservation easement on them. So they're private properties, and not all of them are publicly accessible. So for us to be able to take groups of people with the permission of the landowners to these conserved properties, the participants, the members, the community people who are visiting up here that weekend who see it in the newspaper can join us on a private property to see the work that was done on the conservation.
That's great.
Right. And I think it's fun. And over the years, with the help of Pequawket Foundation and other foundations, we've been able to do once a month, take people out on different properties, and usually have someone, like last month was at Tom Earl, the Earl family farm, talking about permaculture and pollinators. So part of that was the easement property, and we're also getting the knowledge base of the person who's guiding us. And in that place, of course, it's Tom, and it's a fun time of year to be out at the farm too.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
What a lot of fun. And you've got a big one coming up too, and we've been talking about it here on the program in the last few weeks. So let's talk about that, the cleanup.
Yes, and this is for all of us who live in the area. The Saco River is a very important for business, for commerce, and for pleasure, and for people who come up to visit the area.
Right.
And it's really used a lot. So twice a year, the Saco River Rec Council, Michelle Breuer oversees that, goes out to the Saco River before the season, at the end of the season, does a cleanup. So mostly community members. And so the Upper Saco Valley Land Trust has joined in with the Saco River Recreation Council to do the cleanup this Saturday, June 10th, where generally Michelle organizes a flotilla, not really a flotilla, but cleanup boats.
I like flotilla. It's a good
name.
Well,
we don't all attach, but going down the river for cleanup. And she wanted another component that had the landing-based people. So the land trust will have its members and friends there to be able to help what's being pulled off the river and be able to distribute information and let people know who are there paddling what's happening.
And so how does somebody get involved with that? Because I'm sure a lot of people want to do that. They want to help clean up the river. So how do they do that?
Well, I'm glad you asked. So the Upper Saco Valley Land Trust has their website, usvlt.org, and there's a full explanation on there with a link to the Saco River Rec Council. And also, if you want to, give us a call at 356-9683, and myself or Jesse will sign you up, tell you where we're going to meet, tell you the proper clothes to wear, and we're going to be there for a chunk of time.
That's great.
You don't have to be there the whole time, but it's enlightening. You know, you can see the river from a different perspective.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Which is the impact that it has with the tourism. Not a bad thing, but if community members are there during a couple times, crucial times of the year, then it keeps it well tended.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and just it's one of those things that you may be paddling down the river and you might just see a piece of paper or a plastic bag here and there, but if you really, when you start gathering it up, it's amazing how much you're going to gather up and realize how much stuff is there off the side of the river. Plus, I'm sure you take a few steps off on the banks and you're going to find a ton more stuff. And as the river rises and spreads it off to the side, so what a great activity.
It is, and if it's going to be an overcast day, we just have our raincoats on. Otherwise, generally, it's been great weather, so you're out there with your sun lotion and your water bottle, and it's a community. You're meeting other people. You're understanding a little more about the natural resources of the area and organizations for whom are doing the cleanup that you're joining. So in that way, it's pretty great day.
That's great.
Yeah.
And that's coming up next weekend, you said.
Coming up June 10th, and also the Easement Exploration Series is teaming up. I'm excited about this, so I'm going to shove it in here. The New Hampshire NEMPA organization, Rob Adair is one of the local, the gents from there. And we have properties that have bike trails on it. And so I met up with Rob and Jana earlier this spring to say, hey, why don't we take your cyclists out on trails that are on conservation properties that they probably already biked on, but we can just sort of tune them in and still have a great bike ride. So Rob was all over it. So Friday, once a month, July, August, and September, we're going to go out on increasingly more difficult trails. So at the beginning, the easy trail, I'll be out front. So by the end of the season, I'll be the sweep, bringing up the rear of all the cyclists. So that'll be fun, too.
That'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So that's great. So if people want to get more information about the Upper Saco Valley Land Trust, you said you have a website.
Yep, USVLT, or USVELT, as so wonderfully referenced, .org. Go there, and you can see the Easement Exploration Series listing. Or give us a call, one of us a call, William, Linda, Susan, or Jesse, at the Land Trust at 356-9683, and we'll answer any questions you have. Now,
if somebody also wanted, we'll just take it a bigger stretch, somebody wanted to perhaps donate their land or put an easement on their land, you're the people to contact for that, too.
Yeah, and that's, we're in a great...
That's the ultimate goal.
The ultimate goal. Right, and that's part of it, bringing people out on the properties. It gets things going. Do you want to leave your land in perpetuity to a land trust? Do you want to make sure it's conserved? Is there like a contiguous corridor that your neighbors have built on that you want to work on and put an easement on your property to keep that corridor of wildlife going? Or ag. There's a big focus that the land trust is having in Freiburg now, looking at the beautiful rich soils and the intervales there. And trying to work with farmers there.
Great.
Yeah.
That sounds terrific. Well, Susan, thanks so much for coming by today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
As always.